Have you ever seen a school bus parked at night? It's a strange sight. During the day, it's full of life, laughter, shouting. It's a bright yellow symbol of routine and safety. But when the sun goes down, something changes. The bus becomes a dark, hulking shadow. Its windows look like empty eyes, even though you know it's empty. Or is it? The familiar yellow shell feels like a container for secrets, holding on to the echoes of every child who ever rode it. That happy, familiar bus transforms under the moonlight. It stops being a simple vehicle and becomes something more unsettling. Not all of them happy. Our first story takes us back to a quiet, rural town in the 1970s. It was a normal afternoon, just like any other. School had just let out. The big yellow bus was making its usual rounds. Mr. Gable, the driver, knew every kid by name. He drove along winding country roads, dropping kids off at farmhouses, dropping kids off at driveways. Soon only one student remained, a young boy named Timmy. The bus rumbled along Route 7, a lonely road between dense woods and open fields. Mr. Gable glanced in the mirror. Timmy sat in his usual seat, staring out the window. He looked back to the road for a moment. He looked in the mirror again. The seat was empty. Timmy was gone. Mr. Gable slammed the brakes. He stood and shouted Timmy's name. Silence. He tore through the bus, checking under every seat. The bus was completely empty. Windows sealed, rear exit latched, no explanation. A massive search began. To this day, Timmy's disappearance is a baffling unsolved case whispered among locals. In the suburbs of Chicago, there's a legendary road known as Archer Avenue. It's famous for its paranormal activity. Most people know the story of Resurrection Mary, a hitchhiking ghost. But another spirit haunts this road, a ghost bus. The legend goes back to the 1960s, tied to a horrible crash on a foggy night. A school bus returning from a dance careened off the road and erupted in flames. Many students and the driver died that night. Soon after, late-night drivers would spot faint headlights in their rearview mirror. As it drew closer, it turned out to be an old-fashioned school bus. It would tailgate silently, then vanish without warning. They described the bus as old, from another era, moving without a sound, a silent glide through the night. Some report faint, shadowy figures inside. Children's faces pressed to the windows, eyes blank and sorrowful. Sightings peak on foggy nights. The fog seems to act like a curtain, letting the spectral bus cross over. Paranormal teams recorded faint whispers and distant children's laughter, EVPs that chill the spine. The ghost bus of Archer Avenue remains a haunting reminder of lives cut short, a town forever changed, forever replaying its final, tragic route down that road. In a small town in Ohio, there was a school bus that everyone tried to avoid, Bus 13. It wasn't because the bus was old or unreliable, it was because of the stories. Drivers who rode it claimed that it was haunted by an unseen passenger. It began subtly. A driver would be on their route and they'd hear a single, distinct cough from the back. They would check the mirror and find no one there. A student would feel a sudden cold spot beside them, as if someone had just sat down. They'd feel a light tap, turn around, and the aisle would be empty. The activity grew more frequent and more unnerving. The hair on their arms would stand up. The school district painted the number over to 21, hoping it would stop. It didn't. Lights would flash on their own. The pull cord would sway as if someone had pulled it. The unseen passenger of Bus 13 lives on. A sad, creepy tale about a ghost who just wants to go to school. This story is one of the most well-documented and heartbreaking school bus tragedies in American history. It happened on December 14, 1961, near Greeley, Colorado. A bus carrying 36 students was on its way to school on a cold, foggy morning. For reasons still debated, the driver didn't see or hear the fast-approaching train. The city of Denver. The train slammed into the side of the school bus, splitting it in two. The impact was catastrophic. 20 students were killed instantly. Many more were severely injured. It shook the nation and led to laws requiring buses to stop and look at railroad crossings. The community was plunged into grief. The accident etched itself into the town's history. In years since, people driving near the crossing, especially on foggy December mornings, report phantom train horns and the terrible screeching of metal. But no train appears. It is as if the tragedy replays itself, an echo trapped in place and time. Deep in the mountains of Kentucky, another crash site holds similar echoes. It's the site of the Prestonsburg bus crash, the deadliest bus-related accident in United States history. On February 28, 1958, A bus carrying 48 students plunged down an embankment into the Big Sandy River after hitting a wrecker truck. 26 students and the driver drowned. The riverbank became a place of memory and lore. Visitors claimed to hear faint whispers rising from the water. Children calling out "cold" and "help me" captured on EVP recordings. Some report wet footprints appearing on dry ground and wet clothes laid on rocks, as if someone just climbed out of the river, then vanished. A few even claimed to see wet-haired children standing at the edge of the water, staring with empty eyes before dissolving into mist. These sites are profoundly sad places, terrible moments that left a permanent spiritual echo, forever whispering to those who listen. Not all school bus ghost stories are about the students. This one is about a driver who loved his job so much he never truly clocked out. In a small Pennsylvania district, Frank drove the same route for 30 years. He took immense pride in his bus and kept it spotless and running. After retirement, neighbors saw him watching the buses. A few years later, he passed away. Frank's old bus was retired to the back of the depot. Mechanics working late began hearing a cheerful whistle coming from inside the locked bus. They'd find tools they left on the bench neatly arranged inside the bus, as if someone had been tinkering overnight. Sometimes a figure sits in the driver's seat for a second, a friendly silhouette that disappears when you look. One young driver climbed aboard to take a spare part and heard a voice from the empty seat say, "Make sure you put everything back where you found it." He ran and never returned. Frank never left his beloved bus. For the mechanics, it was spooky, but also strangely comforting, like an old friend watching over the fleet. There's an abandoned stretch of road in rural Texas the locals call the Old School Road. It hasn't been used in decades after a new highway bypassed it, leaving a broken path to a ruined schoolhouse. The legend goes back to a stormy night in the 1950s when a bus carrying the last children home was swept by a flash flood. The bus was swept into a creek. 10 children perished. The school and road were abandoned. Locals report a pair of headlights moving slowly along the abandoned path. No car, just lights. As they reach the washed-out bridge, the lights flicker and die, plunging the road into darkness. Drivers say, "Stop your car on the new bridge, put it in neutral, and the car will slowly be pushed forward." Some dust their bumper with powder, and find small hand-shaped prints afterward. No engine, no vehicle, just 2 phantom lights. The spirits are said to be watching over the living, pushing cars to safety. It's a creepy but touching legend of spirits watching over the living. Handprints on bumpers and faint lights in the dark. The familiar yellow school bus, a symbol of childhood, routine, safety, but sometimes ordinary vehicles become tied to terrifying events. They are silent witnesses. An everyday object can hold memories, sorrow, and restless spirits. The boy who vanished into thin air. Phantom lights replaying a fatal journey. These stories tap into a deep-seated fear. Look closely as the bus passes. You never know who or what might be looking back. These are memorials to real lives lost. Legends that make sure the victims aren't forgotten. Think about the energy left in empty seats and the whispers in the aisles. The journey from home to school can sometimes never end. Watch your step. This is the last stop. Remember their names. And if you hear a whisper in the aisles, maybe, just maybe, listen.